Hi, can you talk about the difference between drawing and sculpture?
Drawing and sculpture.
Yeah, because you are doing a drawing of a sculpture.
过来一点吧，离我很远，声音会很小。Drawing and sculpture. Usually, sculptors do drawings and sketches as preparation for their sculpture work. And they may do it very sketchily or do it very detailed, but the function of their drawing is to be the composition of their sculpture. So basically, this is the way people look at drawing since earlier time. But if you consider drawing back to the time when it was super toned and super respected, for example, early Renaissance period of time, drawings so beautiful. But at that time, a lot of drawings as preparation for paintings on the wall or paintings on canvas. So that's the function of drawing and the relationship between drawing, painting, sculpture. I think drawing is three-dimensional in imagination, and sculpture is real three-dimensional in space. So if you do a sculpture with clay, your arms can hug the sculpture. If it's a figure, you can go around, come back and forth, and walking around the figure in space. But if you draw it, you need to show the space and show the depth with shadows and lights, and of course with perspective lines and hints. You draw a door here, a diagonal line here, point to a point very far away, and it means it's a direction. Your eyes may go that way, as if someone pointing to that point for you. It's easier to see that drawing is flat and sculpture is three-dimensional. But I think the difficulties of doing drawing and doing sculpture is more than that, because if you do a sculpture, everything is so real. Every single detail, every fingers and skin textures, every drapery, every tiny detail is real. You have to make it with your hands, with clay, and there's no way to hide. And you have to hide some very deep grooves, not make it too dark or too deep, to maintain the entire unique thing together. And with drawing, you can get help with shadows, but not always that easy. Sometimes it seems easier because you can make an atmosphere with lights and shadows, but sculpture, you have to do every single detail in the real space. But if you look at some cathedral or some church, or if you go to museums where they exhibit Catholic sculptures, the saints, they look like sculpture and in colors, and they have backgrounds. Maybe it's a rounded door or it looks like a church, and within the church there are some saints standing there. The Bible story description sculptures going on, and it's hard to say it's drawing, painting, or sculpture, or decoration for some places, or some description or explanations for religious stories. It's hard to say because earlier time it's not art, it's just it's function. It's function for people to understand certain things, certain stories, especially when they do not read or do not write or do not go to school. So they need to learn from priests and fathers and the book, and most of all they need to go to saint places to see those beautiful drawings, paintings, and sculptures to understand what the story means, and some meaning they are looking for, or some answers they are looking for. I think I'm speaking too far away. Back to your question. What's the difference between doing drawing and sculpture? I've seen some wonderful artists. They do drawing, painting, and sculpture all the time, but they always choose one thing they love most and spend more time doing it. And I strongly against the idea that to make artists only do one tiny subject. If you only do still life, as if you only draw apple, you can only draw apple your entire life. I think that's a terrible, terrible, terrible idea, because life is beautiful. The world is so wonderful, and with so amazing creatures, and if you're amazed by apple and trees and models and mountains and skies and academic cast drawings while you only do apple, I think they have their reasons to say that, but it's really a terrible, terrible idea. Back to this question, I think artists, even our students, should never separate drawing, painting, sculptures from the beginning. If they look at them together as one entire components of the one idea about learning from nature and expressing your imagination and convey how you feel about this world, how you understand other people, or your God, or yourself, or whatever you want to convey in the way to make art pieces. I think that's a lot more important. That's it. I think that's it.